Hello, and welcome to Mechwarrior Online. Today I want to talk about Ebon Jags. Since they've come out with the new EBJ-B special, which is really cool because it's got the second color in the color mix is actually a light up neon, like a LED strip, if you will. More like a electroluminescent strip, because I have those too. Anyway, it's really cool, and it is a great mech, but there are ways you can drive Ebon Jags better, and that's one of the reasons people love them so much, is because Ebon Jags can be almost anything you want them to do through the different variants. Now, why do I have four of them? Well, I have four of them because I really like these mechs, and I just buy them at random. When I first started buying them, I didn't know you could just have a whole bunch of EBJ-Cs. I thought you had to have a B, an A, a D, whatever, and a Prime. So that's how I started out with getting two of them, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get another one of these. I'm going to get one of these here, a B, and then take whatever quirks that I can enjoy out of it and use it. So the reason I have four of these now is because I have four different builds that I run on them that work fairly good. And let's take a look at those a second. So we're going to start with my EBJ-C. The EBJ-C is what I consider a classic build for an EBJ for me anyways. It has two ATM-12s. It has four double heat sinks, four ER medium lasers, and lots of ammo. Let's see if we can count it here. 3, 4, 5, 6.5 tons of ammo. Now, because this doesn't have a slot in the head in any Ebon Jag to put anything like a advanced computer, it's not an option. But you could still put a targeting computer or what is that thing called? Clan active probe. On mine, because this is less dependent on whether there's ECM nearby, because it has primary weapons and then these are the secondaries, the ATM-12s. I'm not too worried about it. Also, you can change out this Omnipod and put in an Omnipod that gives you a missile and a laser. And of course on this one here you can get missile and AMS. I went with this one because I really like the quirks on this. Missile cooldown, missile velocity cooldown, and then the armor. And then on this one here, missile cooldown, velocity cooldown, and once again the armor. So these two really work really well to make this a very tanky mech. And of course, each one of these between 60 meters and 280 meters is doing 30 damage. So that's really something to think about. So I hit somebody with these. It's going to do 60 damage pretty much all over their mech. And the nice thing about ATMs is they have Artemis built in, so you don't even have to think about it. So yeah, this is this build here, and the difference between an ATM build for me and a build, LRM build for me, it really comes down to the targeting decay. Targeting decay doesn't do any justice for ATM weapons because they don't have a lot of indirect fire. So once they go into cover, it's not a direct fire anymore, and you're less likely to be able to get any damage on them whatsoever. So because this has a really good overall cooling factor of 1.47 with these double heat sinks on board, I went with cooldown to make them fire a little bit faster. In addition to the cooldown they have, a little bit of heat gen, range, velocity, usual features you see in mine, except because this is a little bit more of a tankier build, I went with more reinforced casing, just a little bit extra to make the difference. And then of course my usual features you see in most of my builds. And because this is an ATM build, it gets advanced zoom, because I like firing my ATMs without a lock. It's really useful. So moving on to the next. So the next one, I painted these different colors so I'd know them apart. But it's pretty obvious when you look at the bunny ears. So this one gets LRM 20s with Artemis, but otherwise a similar build, and it does have AMS. And when you go to the skill tree, you'll see that this one has target decay because it's an LRM build. I still have advanced zoom on here because sometimes I also do like to fire my LRMs without a lock. And LRMs run a little bit hotter, so I added a little bit more heat cooling as well. Moving on. We go over to the Raiders. No, I'm not a Raiders fan. I just call it the Raider because I thought this was really cool looking colors. And then this one here, you're getting 2 LRM-20s, 2 LRM-15s, 2 heavy machine guns, and a heavy medium laser. I didn't worry too much about heat on this because the heat already is 128, and the heat's going to be coming off these missiles, and I typically chain fire these missiles. Sometimes I'll alpha strike them in the beginning of the matches and stuff, but most of the time I don't. But this is a really good setup here, and lots of ammo, and I went with a full ton for each machine gun. And I put them out on the arms because I'm not too worried about it. And I went with a light active probe on this one and AMS. Moving on. Now this is the one that they just gave away with the cool paint scheme. I call this Tron. And for obvious reasons. This has 3 LRM-20s and 3 ER medium lasers with a clan active probe and 2 double heat sinks. Anyway, I hope you like this information, and I hope you continue to play the game. We really love having good players.